comic friends and fiends, it's Rob from in front of the Great Wall of Comics, and with me today on Sidekicks, as it is every week, the main man himself, the Ringo to the usual suspects, Mr. Slotitup 503. How you doing today, brother?
Well, I'm doing well. I am doing well. It's creeping closer to Friday, right? Every Sidekicks Hot Comics, I'm like, yes, that means tomorrow's Friday. So I'm excited.
A little Mega Darth action going on. That's rock and roll,
yes.
brother. Very awesome. I got my do or not do, try command not found programming with the Force, programming by Force shirt.
We were using the Force today and chose our shirts wisely.
Exactly. So welcome everybody here to whatever this is, episode 22 or something. I don't know, some oddball thing of Sidekicks Talk our Sidekicks Talk Comics. Talk comics. No, we're not talking about the Russians. James Willie from Canada is first, but he says he's leaving now after we said that. Super Jesse's in second. Greg Love is third. I didn't know it was a race, but apparently it is. Trapper Dad goes for fourth. Hey, there we go. And our man Gary B, the casual comic guy here. Digger Jim, Soul Twice. It's excellent. Big Dave loves comics here. The beard himself, Mr. DJ Link. He's
Links. Get his name right or he'll get sued.
DJ Links, there you go. Anachronic Comics, welcome to the show. Excellent. See, we're raking it in. Nobody's watching Noah over on Nerd Tween. I was watching him though. I'm gonna finish watching on the replay. Hey, so Jason, we kick it off how we always kick it off there. Let's try to blast through our books here before we get in today's topic with the I love the 80s topic, talking about those 80s properties and comics. So go ahead and kick us off for us here, brother. Let me make you a big.
Yeah. Oh, there you went. Yeah, right. So this week, I missed out on my DC books because they showed up like an hour after we left. So got this from last week. Is the one per store variant of Something is Killing the Children, #1. This is what really killed the wallet. Something is definitely killing the wallet with these books. We got Star Wars Bounty Hunters #13. We got Eve. This is actually it's a really good book. This is #2. Got the 1 in 25 variant. I blame Rob for all these variants I've been getting, his exclusives, because, this is the 1 per store. Imagine that. And then there's another one. That's a 1 per 10. Damn you, Rob, and your store variants. Then we got Geiger. I'm sure we got like 700 copies of this. Yep, there's a couple. Hey, look at that. There's another one. This is a really good book, too. It's really getting good. And that one's pretty dope. And then we got The Good Asian, #2. It's a crime noir book. Really good read as well. Another horror book that just came out, The Bunny Mask.
Horror book. Before DJ starts thinking.
Yep. There's the 1 in 15 of that. Just because it was there. Then we got Proctor Valley Road 4. This is getting pretty spicy as well. There's another #4 getting there. There's another #4. This is a 1 in 10. And this is the 1 per store variant. So
look at
there you
go.
All those variants.
You are the variant king, brother. This week. All right, the franchise that nobody really wants to read, but we all pick it up anyways. The Web of Spider-Man. We'll give it a chance and we'll see. I'm not holding my breath for much. Detective Comics. Joker. You got to get myself my Punchline Joker cover. And the 1 in 25 variant. Not sure who that's supposed to be necessarily. If it's supposed to be Two-Face, maybe? I don't know. Future State Gotham. I've been actually kind of enjoying where this so far. Batman Detective.
Mm-hmm.
the urban legends. I love. And as we round out the last ones here, some Strange Academy. What the hell did you do? Sorry, the dog just did something with. Honey?
Honey, shrink the dog.
Sorry, no, the dog got into the recycling and has taken a can of chicken out, and I'm afraid the dog's going to cut its tongue licking the sharp can. And War of the Bounty Hunters.
Nice.
All right. So, anyways, now that we've, yeah, exactly, Joe. Joe knows what it is for sure. All
right. Gosh.
Absolutely killing it. It's the bane of today's collecting, but we all do it. No, she's an idiot. Actually, they're sold toys, but we love her anyways. She's a basset hound, so she's all nose, and you gotta be, if you don't rinse out everything perfectly, it's like.
But no,
anyways, so today we're rocking and rolling. We're going back in time. I really wanted to originally do this whole thing. I thought we should have dressed like we were in the 80s, but then before I suggested it, I realized I had nothing to do because I don't have any more skater shirts and I have no hair to style. So,
I mean, we're basically as dressed up as the actors were in Wonder Woman 84 for the 80s.
Well, most of the 80s I was wearing t-shirts and shorts anyways, so I'm not that far off. It was really just Hobie shirts and like Ocean and OP and that type of stuff. But anyways, all right. What we want to talk about today is we want to talk about some of these properties and the rise on the 80s and what kind of gains we're seeing and stuff. And just to kind of give so the teaser stuff we're talking about a lot of there's a lot of books that came out in the 80s, but what's specifically hot right now are these toy properties, right? The Transformers, the G.I. Joe, the Masters of the Universe, Thundercats, Mask, all these different properties getting hot. We're seeing people clam for it. And there's a couple different reasons for it. But just to kind of set the benchmark, what we're talking about here, right? I took a look at some of these basic toy properties. And I looked at I said, forget the 9.8s. Let's just take a look at number ones at a 9.6, right? Because 9.6 is an easy number that usually a lot less expensive, more affordable, everything else. Masters of the Universe. So on each of these, we took a 9.6 and looked at what the average sell price was in the month of January versus May. A mere 5 months. In that 5 months, Masters of the Universe number one, which is not even the first appearance of He-Man and Skeletor, right? Just the rest of the group, up 300% from a book that used to be $100 to $115 to over $300 now for a 9.6. Transformers number one, up 260% from $250 to $650. Thundercats, 400%. From $200 to nearly $800 right now. G.I. Joe number one, up 100% from $350 to $700.
And probably a lot of other G.I. Joe books in that run are up too, just because like the Snake Eyes.
The Snake Eye, yeah. When you get into specific books,
yeah,
some of those ones may have experienced. Obviously, you have and we'll get into that. Some of the reasoning for some of these, right? These climbs. ROM Space Knight. Number one, even though that book came out in the late 70s, but most of the series ran through the 80s, up 90%. That book would have run you $95 back in January. Is now running you $175 in May, at the end of May. And last on my list here, Mask, number one of the limited series, the 4-issue limited series. In January would have cost you $59. It's up 300%, running $167 for a 9.6. So
I need that book too.
Yeah. So and there's not a lot of those out and about. So
no.
And I saw one today. Somebody wanted to like $500 for the 4 set ungraded, and I was like,
Gotta
But
be. That's a lot. But yeah.
so, what do you have any of these in your collection there?
I've got a couple, but they're nothing like big keys, and some of them are just crossovers. You know how sometimes they like to do it, where they cross over two of the titles. You know, like
But no, none of these number ones.
no, none.
Yeah.
I do
Well,
have one you didn't mention, and it's coming back from CGC, and that's Super Mario Brothers.
nice. Yeah, some of the video game ones are a whole nother ball of wax, which I didn't even do any research on that part of it.
Yeah, I bought this book back. I want to say Super Jesse can correct me if I'm wrong, which I probably am wrong. I want to say like 5 or 6 months ago on a YouTube auction, I paid $60 for the set of number 1 and number 2. These were the books that came out in 1983, I think. I could be wrong too, but I'm pretty sure it's 83. They were definitely in the 80s. And the number 1 came back in 9.8, and one of the last sold issue at 9.8 was like $2,000. So it's these video game ones too, right? Or people like video games, and especially nostalgia from the 80s. It's all people our age. We want our stuff back.
Yeah, and that's it, right? That's what's driving. I mean, there's multiple reasons that drive what's going on here with these properties. I mean, one is
okay, I was off. 1990.
1990. Now, the one of them is obviously pure nostalgia, right? I mean, people buy what they remember, and there's a large part of the collector base, the older millennials, the younger Gen X, that this was their childhood, these properties, and they have rose tinted glasses about how great they all were, and they've pined for them. And now that we're in situations and you have the ability to afford those types of things, you go for those types of things that you remember and you glom to, and that drives a lot of this, obviously.
Even like the Ninja Turtles, like they came out in the 80s, right? And the Ninja Turtles, the toy line and the cartoon, that got me into comics originally. That was like the big thing that drug me into the collecting.
Right. So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, there's a title that I did not cover in this because obviously it's a completely different, when we talk about the number 1, it's a completely different realm compared to these other toy properties. But TMNT, I mean, it's been a grail for many people in the Gen Xers, whatever. That's a grail for a lot of people, right? But it's been experiencing even still big rises ever since IDW's run on TMT's been long run and doing well since issue 95, when you introduced your 5th turtle and gave female turtle fans a female turtle to go with, who's not really even well known amongst the mainstream, but we see good sales on those titles with that. Last Ronin's been doing well for it. Yeah. Then of course,
Southern Comic Geek in the chat there, I'm pretty sure he got I want to say a 2nd or 3rd print. I'm not sure exactly, but he got it for a really good price and sent it off to CGC, and it came back a really high grade, high 9s. I don't remember exactly, but hell, even that book is even a 2nd or 3rd print is ridiculous price, and that's a grail for a lot of people.
Yeah, it was such a low print run, and now you have Seth Rogen is attached to a CGI film for TMNT that's helping to drive that as well. So you got a combination of nostalgia combined with film. That's what we're going to see with a lot of these on the list here. You go down to G.I. Joe, right? G.I. Joe's another one where you've had some movies already. You had a popular toy line. You have another set of movies that's coming out, right? We have the Snake Eyes movie that's coming out. We have a Lady J based TV show for Amazon, and so we're seeing gains there. Yeah, and people drives the media. What I think is great about this, and we're seeing one of the reasons we've seen so much gains of this. We had the streaming services doing so much, try to create their own original content that they control and not have to pay leasing to the old ABC, CBS network stuff. And their desire to go and pure original stuff is fine and dandy, but you have to have some names that draw people in. And the people who are, again, directing these things now and doing a lot of this stuff and doing a lot of the writing stuff are, again, our ages. And they want to go to these types of properties that they're familiar with. And they're the big names that are then going to help to draw people in to go see stuff. I mean, I re-upped my Netflix subscription for a few moments there because I had to go see the Ultraman when somebody told me that Ultraman stuff was there, right? And then I can take it off. Now I'll have to come
like
back
today. I found out about the He-Man thing, the new He-Man show that's going to be coming out July 23rd, and it's done by Kevin Smith, and the Joker voice from the animated series,
Mark Hamill doing Skeletor.
Yeah, absolutely. And so after seeing that trailer, I went straight to all my streaming services, found where it was available to watch the original He-Man, because the new one is not it's not a remake, it's not a nothing. It's basically picks up where the last cartoon of that series left off in the 80s. So it basically takes off from right where they left off. So I went back and I was like, oh, it's on this one. Oh, let's add stars to my Amazon Prime. Let's watch it today. I watched like 4 episodes of the old He-Man today. So it brings back nostalgia really quick just seeing stuff like that.
Yeah, and you got, we've got the same thing going on with Thundercats too, right? Thundercats, another one we said was having, what was it? Thundercats was up 400%, right? Huge gains on that. That's one where we've got, we've had rumors since 2017 of, some movie in the works, but obviously the trying to do Thundercats is a tricky one, right? You're not necessarily going to do live action. You're going to end up with cats again, and that may not come out too well. But we had recently an announcement of Adam Wingard from Godzilla versus Kong being attached to helm the project and doing a CGC or sorry, CGC, a CG.
CGC.
A CGI type film as well on this, which will be pretty interesting. Soul's-wise, I haven't seen much on the way of Rainbow Bright. I'm sorry, Matt. I haven't seen no Smurfs, no Snorks, no any of that stuff in the works.
Well,
that I care about.
They brought like DuckTales back. There's like a new DuckTales cartoon. They're talking about there's like a new Darkwing Duck coming back, I want to say.
Oh yeah.
And that Super Jesse has one of those books coming back in our CGC submission. Darkwing Duck. I want to say they might have just, or maybe I'm just thinking of Freaky Louie and his Saturday Night Louie, but I want to say, I could be wrong. They might be doing a remake of the Saved by the Bell, because I know they just did the remake of Friends. So there's all kinds of stuff coming back.
There was one they took. Zach was the principal now, or governor or something. I heard. I don't remember what it was, but yeah.
They bring all these shows back. Like you were telling me, what, Punky from the 80s, right? Punky Brewster.
Oh, yeah. I was watching Punky on...
Yeah, I mean, they bring all these shows back. I mean,
it's pure... Some of it's pure saccharine, but, that's fine. Saccharine was a product of the 80s as well. So you have a lot of this stuff that's coming out, but, here's the kicker that's been teased around and supposedly is getting closer to reality on all this, too, is... Hasbro and Paramount had gotten together to try to unify several different properties into a shared universe. Everybody wants to do a shared universe stuff, but apparently they're getting closer where a shared universe with Transformers and G.I. Joe and Power Rangers and ROM and Micronauts and, Mask and some others. You're talking about like having, Mask be a division of an army as they're dealing with the Transformers and and Micronauts involved in there and all this other stuff. So I mean, it's like if you get all these different properties together and you can pull it off, and especially if you can pull in some of these ancillary or lesser properties. I mean, G.I. Joe, big. Transformers, big. All stuff. You start pulling in, and let's be honest, Micronauts was a amazing success as a comic,
Huge comic, yeah.
For what it was. I mean, the reality was it was a hodgepodge of toys that didn't sell well.
It ended up
You
as a
know,
great comic, yeah.
same thing as ROM Space Knight, right? It was a piece of garbage toy, let's be honest. But it turned out to be a pretty decent comic book that went on for several years. If you can get these things put together right, I mean, this stuff can relaunch a lot of these things and just really kind of go on.
Yep.
And I'd love to see, maybe, God, will we see the Illuminaries? No, no one wants to see them.
Remember GoBots?
Oh, GoBots, mighty robots, mighty vehicles. Yes. You kidding? I'm not going to do the justice of trying to sing it, but I do remember these theme songs. They're all in my head, right? Because knowing is half the battle.
Right? So many. Like G.I. Joe's, like, I really want to watch the G.I. Joe the movie again, like the cartoon movie with like Sergeant Slaughter, when they sent those like Jinx and all those rejects to Sergeant Slaughter in his little training camp. God, that movie was big time.
So twice you can say GoBots are stupid, but the reality is GoBots came out first.
We did.
The more you know.
Transformers just did it better.
Well, yeah. Well, Hasbro did a better job of taking an existing property and piecing toys from multiple product lines together into a single product line, and learning that you could change the coloring and make the same character over and over again. And yeah. Transformers made me cry too, especially how they treated poor Prime.
Soul Twice says he has all the GoBots. I'm jealous now, Soul Twice. Dang it. You need to do a video where you show off your GoBots, because I loved my GoBots. All my friends had all the cool. I had Soundwave, and I wanted Megatron, but I got Soundwave, but I like Soundwave a lot. And then I had the generic Soundwave, like the boombox one for the Autobots. And those are like the only real Transformers I had. Blaster, there you go.
Yeah. In my house, for whatever reason, most of these toys, the G.I. Joes, the Transformer stuff, my parents didn't want us playing with that. They thought they were too violent. No, what else? But we were allowed to play with Star Wars. Logic doesn't make sense, but it's there. So we had a lot of Star Wars stuff. We had a lot of Hot Wheels, and we could sneak in some GoBots because they were the same size as the Hot Wheels. And then we had Legos, and we made stuff out of Legos back then. If I wanted a Transformer, I made it out of Legos. I wanted a mask, I made it out of Legos. And let me tell you, it challenges your brain to make a vehicle that can turn into something else out of Legos that you had available to you in the 80s when it was all just blocks and hinges and weird wheels. But we did end up with one Transformer. My brother and I each convinced my grandma. When you're spending the day with grandma and she doesn't know any better, and you take her to the toy store and you're like, yeah, let me get it. And I got the Insecticon Shrapnel.
Ooh, nice.
And played with that for a while, and then eventually would trade it with friends, because we traded toys back then and would trade through several different ones. I got like Perceptor, then Blaster, then Ultra Magnus, and some different ones along the way. But good times.
It was fun. I know my next door neighbor had the Constructicons and stuff, and had all the cool stuff. And I was so jealous of all those. But
I would love to have lived in the snow like James. Can you imagine taking all your Star Wars Hoth stuff out there into the snow and doing a nice setup? I just had a beach in my backyard, not a river ocean, but we had a river that went through our backyard, and we had a sandy beach from the river, and we would build tunnels and stuff for all the trucks and cars and whatnot.
These toys
only, huh?
Yeah, these toys nowadays, like I've looked on eBay for like the original Megatron in the package, you know what I mean? Or just out of box with the box. And they want a pretty penny for those original ones for sure.
If they're in good condition, yeah. I mean, that's how it's a lot of stuff. Actually, one of the things, as we were drifting further off here, I don't know if you've seen it. There's a company, I did this for my sister. They take off the card Star Wars figures they find, and they put them on a card. with a blister seal back over it, and then you can customize your stuff. Make it, you can send it like a birthday card to somebody, and so they're used figures, but that's not the point. That's not really the gift. It's just more the nostalgia. And I gave my sister a Princess Leia, one of the original Princess Leia's in a card. It's a happy birthday to our princess. Just fun stuff. But
did you have the Luke with the telescope lightsaber? Because
yes.
that's like one of the holy grails of the Star Wars.
The yellow with and it had the little extra little flip on the end of it. Yeah, I had that.
Yep.
And I had the original Yoda with the brown snake instead of the orange snake.
If you would have just kept them in a box as a kid and had them now, you could damn near buy a house.
Possibly, but you know what? I was a kid and I played with my toys.
Right. I think
and then I went off to college and my mom got rid of all my toys.
That's how I lost all my comics. Just moved out of mom and dad's house, go do your own thing, and next thing you know, they're all gone.
Battle Beast will cost you an organ. So these toys properties, they're nostalgia. We love to talk about them. We remember them fondly. The books are out there. The market's heating up on them. I know of these, that we talk. I have a ROM number 1, I have a Transformers number 1, and my Transformers number 8. First, Dinobots,
baby.
Grimlock, no like Autobot Commander. Yeah. And then I had my Masters of the Universe number 1, but I sold that.
I had a freaking Thundercats number 1 at some point in my mystery box run. I probably put it in a mystery box and it's gone now. So
yeah, I got Mask number 1, and I do not have Joe number 1, but I do have some Joes. I have about 10 Joes that are off at CGC right now, including the First Lady J and the 25 and 26, whatever, the Snake Eyes stuff and some other stuff. So they're going up, but if you want the nostalgia for these guys before these continue with CGI film in the works for TMT, CGI film in the work for Thundercats, Netflix series about to drop for Masters of the Universe, shared universe for Power Rangers, ROM, Micronauts, Mask, Transformers, G.I. Joe, Transformers. Transformers has got it's got a new animated show coming out for Nickelodeon soon. And G.I. Joe, an Amazon show. All those properties, new stuff is only going to continue to drive more interest on these. Go pick these up now if they're an interest to you to have a piece of that nostalgia in your wallet or on your wall. Now, don't wait. Don't. It's only going up even more. I mean, with up to 400% on some of these things in the last 5 months, it's past time.
Digger Jim said Voltron. Voltron was
yeah. I mean, there's other ones in here. I mean, there's other properties out there too, right? I mean, the Voltron is definitely one. Shogun Warriors is one we've seen been heating up some in there. That there's talk about it potentially in the works on something. Any of these toy properties, guys, I mean, you can assume that if you liked it as a kid, somebody who's a writer and a producer now and in a position to make and being asked to come up with ideas for these types of things, they're looking at those things as well, because for every independent film comic that's being set up to be looked at for a potential show, that has a small audience and doesn't have the same nostalgia factor versus something that's older that may have a big name recognition, and it's an easy property. Sometimes it has it doesn't even have to be as good of a sadly, it doesn't have to be as good to be greenlit because of the name recognition and nostalgia factor that'll be associated with that.
Joe says he was busy being a lawyer back in the 1980s.
True, but I've seen some of the, Joe's got a couple of years on us, but I've seen some of the stuff that he's got, and I'm jealous.
Yeah, me too.
Those showcase books were awesome. Sectar Warriors of Symbion. I will admit, Taylor, I don't recall that one off the top of my head, but it could be up there along with like the Crystal Warriors and the Luminaries and stuff like that were like one season TV shows and a toy that 7 kids played with.
Jace and the Wheeled Warriors. Do you remember that?
Sadly.
Sadly. Yeah, I remember them, Taylor. The
They're
Sectar
Bug Warriors.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Bug Warrior. They like snap apart and snap. I don't know. Anyways,
They had
that
big
takes
swords
us-
and stuff. Yeah.
it takes us to the top of the hour, at the end of our show. Thank you all for joining us today for Sidekicks Talk Comics. Next week, we'll be back over on Slotitup 503's channel. So again, I must ask you, if you haven't subscribed to him, why the hell not? But his link is down below. Click on it, subscribe, hit the bell to notify so you'll know when he goes live, and you'll be there for Sidekicks Talk Comics next week. And while you're at it, if you haven't done this channel, again, well, why not? But
It's
hit
free.
yeah, exactly. Hit that bell for us too. Thank you very much, Jason. Anything coming up in the next couple days here that people need to make sure they're aware of?
Yeah, just here in a little bit, actually, on Gary B's channel, on In the Hot Seat with the Usual Suspects. We got Dave from Dave's Dungeon. We're going to have him on. So that will be real fun. So tune in like 30 minutes on Gary B, the Casual Ones channel.
Phenomenal. I got tomorrow, I've got a CBCS or Clan McDonald's signing open. Hopefully it's intact. You can join me tomorrow to find out if it's intact or broken and destroyed.
Oh,
and of course,
I've got 30 books on the way too. I don't know if they'll be here this week or not, but I've got a lot of slabs coming back.
Excellent. And Saturday, speaking of slabs, Slab Hub returns with Chris the Comic Vet right here on this channel. We'll be going through a box of all signed slabs and, of course, usual stuff coming down the pipeline for the rest of the week. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us. It's much appreciated. Until next time, collect what you want. Don't listen to anybody, including those of us with lists of stuff, because we're just fat guys with fat stacks of comics and fat opinions. Thanks for watching all.